Okay, welcome to another edition of 8 Good Minutes. I'm David Hall, along this week with Ashley Cirilli, Vice President of a lot of things at Hall Financial. And it's great to be with you today. And we've got some awesome success stories, Ashley, that you and I are going to discuss today, just about how this new program that we have at Hall Financial is impacting our clients' lives in the market. People are talking about, rates, but over here, there's a lot of success going on with this free money that Hall Financial is giving to folks for the down payment. And I can't wait to get into it with you.
I love it. Let's jump in.
Okay.
We have some wonderful success stories, but also we're here to help educate and tell you more about the 1% down so that if it makes sense for you, a friend, a realtor partner, that's what we're here to talk about. So, David, do you want to kick us off by talking about a little bit more specific about how it works? And then we can talk about some scenarios that have been really profound in helping clients get into their new homes.
Yeah, it's a good idea. So, a lot of people don't realize the national average for a down payment is 11% down. That's the average. And the average for a first-time home buyer, 7% down. People are always astounded when I tell them that. And the 3% down program, which thousands of first-time homeowners use, has been incredibly popular because down payment is such an obstacle that folks have to overcome to buy a house. Well, Hall Financial rolled out a program that out of the 3% down, if you qualify for the program, we're going to pay two of it for you, up to $7,000. So in a scenario where you buy a $300,000 home and you're going to put down $9,000, if you qualify for this program, Hall Financial pays $6,000, you pay $3,000, and you don't have to pay it back. So you can imagine that that's exciting to a lot of people who
That's astounding.
qualify for the program. What's that?
That's astounding.
It's astounding. So, and we've had success stories with this with some of our clients. We wanted to share it with our listeners and our viewers today. And so I know you've got some specific scenarios of some clients that have taken advantage of it and how it impacted them in a positive way.
Yeah, before we jump into those, I just want to reiterate something you talked about because I think in my mind, and I know a lot of others, you always hear this number that you can't get a house until you have 20% down. So when you look at the info you're telling us with the 11% average and that for first-time home buyers it's more like 7, that is, I think that 20% down is a myth that might hold a lot of people back feeling like, well, I can't be ready for home ownership until I hit this milestone.
That's right. And I think that for a lot of folks, they feel like that it's not attainable, and that's just not true. And I think that that is like one of the two most important things that I counsel people on that you need to do way early on in the process is understand how much money you need to save and understand your credit score. Those are those are the two biggies as far as I'm concerned. How much do I need to save, and what is my credit score right now, and how do I improve it? Because those things dramatically impact what you can buy and how much you're going to pay for it. And so we're very focused on those two pieces of it at Hall Financial.
Now, as a reminder, in case you don't know this, we are also here to help you with those things. So if you don't know a lot about your credit, if you don't know how that works, we are here to help prepare you for home ownership. So don't wait until you feel like you've got that stuff figured out. We're here to help usher you through it and help make it easier for you to know what steps you should be taking to be ready to go.
100%. Yep. Great
Okay,
point.
let's dive into some of these amazing success stories because I think the beauty of them is seeing how we've been able to help clients get into homeownership with some different scenarios. So the first one I want to touch on is a situation where we had a client who had a handful of other lenders they attempted to go with, and the other lenders couldn't help. They then had this like rush situation where they were being forced to move in a month because the house they were renting, the owner was selling it. So they were in a very, very fast turnaround time. And to add to the fun, they were new parents. I know you and I have both been in this situation of just having the chaos of having a baby in the house, especially when it's your first one. And so the beauty here is that we were able to not only get their credit pulled, get the pre-approval set. We also referred them to a realtor in our network. They had an offer accepted and they closed all of this within 32 days, which is so fast. And then also a nice little perk to this is that their new house is minutes from work. So they get to be able to sneak home on lunch and see the baby. And also just I can't imagine the weight that was lifted off of this stressful scenario by being able to sweep in and just help take care of a lot of this. So I don't know what else you want to add to this, but this one really spoke to my heart as a parent. So
Big time. It's an amazing story. And, we're very proud of the fact that we move quickly, but accurately, meaning, we don't try and rush people into things, but, when you want to get into house and life happens, you need to make a move and you need to get into a new place. And if you can find the house and close on it quickly, I mean, a 30-day process is a lot better typically than a 180-day process. And so we pride ourselves on, we've got you in every part of the scenario, all the way from helping with the down payment to connecting you with a great realtor that's serious about what they do. As people know, or well, maybe a lot of people don't know, but some do, is that there are a lot of people in our business and in the real estate business that aren't as serious about what they're doing as we are. And so when you call certain people and they say, oh, you don't qualify, they may not be as qualified to walk you through things as we are at Hall Financial. And I say that with tremendous pride. So, how could these other lenders not approve us, but you did? I mean, there's so many factors in that, but I would say at the top of the list that I've learned in my 28 years is that we care more. I really believe that we care more. And if somebody comes to us with a situation, we will exhaust every option to figure out what we can do for them, because we're obsessed with client service at Hall Financial, and a lot of people know that. And that's how we got nearly 7,000 five-star reviews from clients. That's not easy to do. That's authentic. And that's something that's happened over time because of the way that we take care of people. So we're really proud of that.
I love it. Okay, our next success story comes with a little bit of turmoil in terms of some things happening in a client's life. So the beauty of this one is that one of our home loan advisors, was chatting with a friend just about what was happening in their life, what was going on, and it's an unexpected divorce situation. And with that, it's needing a quick turnaround, but also just assuming that I'm going to have to rent now. Home ownership is not in the cards right now as we kind of figure out the situation. Um, and what was really special, I think, about this is that we were able to sit down and walk through what the numbers looked like for this client and really finding out that with where rent prices are right now, it was actually going to be more affordable for this the client to purchase than it was going to be to rent once you're looking at the numbers lined up side by side with what rent costs are right now. So this was really exciting to be able to, exactly before life happens, sneaks up on you with, a big life change like this. So to be able to show someone how the numbers worked and to be able to put that ease in mind so that they're making a better financial decision when you look at the numbers was just so helpful.
Yeah. And I think, my only really feedback on that story, because it kind of speaks for itself, is that there's so much talk in the media, on TV, newspaper, wherever, about mortgage rates being high. But there's not nearly as much talk about the fact that rents have consistently gone up, and in a lot of cases and in a lot of areas, more than home affordability. So there is no like better option typically with renting. Now, I'm a huge proponent of renting in the right situation. I think people moving somewhere for a short period of time, maybe they're moving to a new area and they want to get a feel for the area. I mean, there's a lot of really good reasons to rent. I'm not an anti-rent guy, but if you look at how most young people have built the most wealth in their young life, it's through home ownership and by their home appreciating and having an asset that they can sell, and not only sell, but sell it where the first couple $100,000, if they're fortunate enough to do that, is tax free. I mean, and people don't talk enough about that. We could get into that on another show, but rents going up has caused interest rates being quote unquote higher than people would like to not be that big of a deal when you consider the alternative.
Yeah, great perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, the last success story I want to talk about was the client came to work with us, and what ended up happening is being able to save them money when they came to the closing table. Now, for those of us that have been in the spot of purchasing our first home, there are always these expenses after the fact where something that didn't come up in inspection breaks, or you got to replace a dishwasher or something like that. So the beauty in this case is that the client had planned to bring just under $10,000 to closing. And with the 1% down program, we were able to get them down to only bringing 2,500. And so what that meant is they were able to save $5,000 that they were able to either keep in their bank account for those unexpected expenses, keeping their savings intact, so that transition into owning their new home was a little easier. So this one is really exciting to be able to just have that surprise extra cash on hand as you move into this new stage of buying your first home.
And if I were going to put on a whiteboard, my 5 greatest discoveries in my, nearly 30 years of doing this, one of the big ones would be that I've told so many clients, there's no badge of honor for putting more money down. And it's not like I'm against putting more down, but I've seen so many people over the years that wanted to just get to that marker of 20% or what, and then they had no money for all the things that come up, because you want furniture, you're going to want that new couch, you want a little bigger TV, you don't want the 65-inch, you want the 75-inch TV. So having some money when you move in, and we've all been in that situation. I remember when I bought my first house, $148,000 in Royal Oak. I split it with a buddy back in the day, and we didn't have any money left over after the down payment, and so you couldn't do anything for a while, and you wanted to do all those things. You had to save more money. It's just exciting when you get the home, if you've got an extra $5,000 or whatever it is as the first-time home buyer, to do some stuff around the house. And I think that that's a really important thing you bring up is, having a little extra cash in your pocket after you buy the home, rather than exhausting all of your funds into the down payment. I think that is an enormous thing. In fact, last thing I'll say is that I've counseled a lot of couples and first-time home buyers, single people as well, that, hey, you just have enough for a down payment. Let's save a little bit more before we buy, because then when you buy, you'll have some. I never want somebody to put every penny they have into their down payment, and then now they don't have any money. Like that doesn't feel good unless it's a real need situation, and that's different. So yeah, great story, and so funny how these illustrations just happen over and over.
I know. Okay,
Yeah.
we talked about 3 really amazing ways that we were able to help clients with 1% down. David, as we wrap this up, is there anything else you can think of that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure people know about 1% down?
Well, I think that the biggest thing about it is that it's going to be a limited time. This will not last forever. It sounds too good to be true. When I talk to clients about it, they're like, what's the catch? There is no catch. This is a promotion that is going on in our industry that Hall Financial is taking advantage of, that's helping to promote home ownership at a time where folks think, well, rates are kind of high. Well, this is your offset to that. This is there's others as well, but this is one of your offsets to that. And I would just encourage people to look into it, see if you qualify to take advantage of the program. And I'm so happy that you gave us some great illustrations today about how some of our clients have been doing that.
I love it. And we have some more topics we can come back on the air and talk about soon.
See you next week. We'll be back. I'm going to put it out there. We're going to be back with 8 good minutes again next week. David Hall, Ashley Cirilli. We'll talk to you soon.